Hey guys, it's Cheekies from Cheekies and Chill. Cleaning today? Well, not exactly my idea of fun, but wait a second. Is Fabuloso involved? Because that's different. Cleaning with Fabuloso 2 times concentrated cleaner turns chores into fiestas. Fabuloso pairs twice the concentrated cleaning power with long-lasting lavender freshness. From showers to countertops, floors to doorknobs, it leaves your whole home smelling and feeling like a fresh oasis. You may never love cleaning, but you will love a home cleaned with Fabuloso. So make your home dramatically clean with Fabuloso. Pick some up today at your favorite store. Fabuloso 2 times concentrated formula provides 2 times more active ingredients versus non-concentrated Fabuloso Original. Use as directed.
Your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Even if you've applied before, they may be eligible now. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Welcome, crew, guys, gals, ghouls, friends, fiends, foes, whoever may be listening out there beyond the Omniverse tonight. Let's climb aboard the mothership, secure our tinfoil hats, buckle down tight, and hold on loosely as we soar over the rocky tops of the La Platas on a rocky mountain high. Get sucked into the vortex of the Four Corners and settle down snugly at mile marker 420 in colorful Colorado. I'm your host, TessaTNT, and we are broadcasting live from the Mile High Clubhouse tonight. If you'd like to watch live, just tune in to We Are Paradox Media on YouTube, and you should be able to hang out with me as I share some of the world's trippiest TikToks. That is the goal for this evening. But thank you so much once again for tuning in with me tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. It's an honor and a pleasure to have you here tonight. If you have any TikToks or any videos that you'd like me to share, please send them to me at weareparadoxmedia@gmail.com, and I will do my best to share those with everyone out there. All right, so if you'd like to listen in your free time, whether you're working or working out, feel free to tune in anywhere you listen to your podcasts, and also make sure you go to YouTube and subscribe, like any video that you've watched, and leave us any comments, whether good or bad, things we can improve, etc. And I will do my best to make you happy. In the meantime, let's go on over to our TikTok, and let's get this thing a-rolling, shall we? All right. make sure we're exactly where we need to be on here.
Did the angels come down and cut down all the giant trees? Watch this.
Enoch describes this perfectly. And this book was left out of the Bible on purpose from our predecessors, but it describes the angels coming down and cutting all these giant trees down to flood out the Nephilim, the giants, these beings that stretched 4,500 feet tall. These trees would reach the heavens, and that's why you always see the flat mountaintops.
That was an
These were
ancient
massive trees way back in the day. Giant trees.
Some guy told Kiona it was like the other church.
Bigger realm. And they came and they cut all this down because they wanted to get rid of the Nephilim.
Primary
get rid of the giants. It is said that there's about 200 of these trees that were cut down. And if you take a look around, that's pretty accurate. There could be even more. But the evidence is right in front of your face. And when you cut a tree down, water will start pouring out from the trees. But it's as above, so below. The water's above the firmament. This is where all the flooding came in. It was right after they cut the trees down was when we experienced this massive flood, and it wiped out all of the giants, all of the Nephilim. And this was mentioned again in the book of Enoch, and they left it out on purpose, guys. Like, they left this shit out on purpose because they don't want you to know the real origins of humanity and our true history.
Did the angels come down?
So yeah, for the longest time over when I was broadcasting from Space Dot Radio, there was a thing, are you Team Rock or are you Team Stump? I'm Team Stump all the way, so let me know in the comments what you are. Are you Team Rock or Team Stump?
Wow! I can't believe it. You know what time Charlie Kirk was assassinated? It says it was 12:23 p.m. At 12:23 p.m., a Utah Valley University police officer states, Alpha 34, we have shots fired. Charlie Kirk is down. And then I go to John chapter 12, verse 23, matching that time. And Jesus says, the hour has come for the Son of Man to be glorified. Wow! It was Charlie's time for the glory of God. Very truly I say to you, unless a kernel of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it remains only a single seed. But if it dies, it produces many seeds. What? When he died, I've seen so many other believers rise up. They're boldly professing the gospel with their lips. It's multitudes, millions. One seed died and millions more sprouted. Isn't that amazing? That's not a coincidence. That was the power of God. The timing was the supernatural power of God. I'm convinced of it. Because now there's so many more Charlies. We are Charlie. And we're roaring for Charlie and sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ and be the hands and feet of Jesus just the way Charlie was. So God is glorified in it. It was his time. Wow. Wow.
Something quite major unfolding in Panama right now, and it's pretty damn grotesque to say the least, right? Check this out. August 29th, 2025, a man named Kin found a meteorite that crashed near his home. He picked up pieces and took it home and experimented on it to see if there's anything strange with it. He claimed he exposed it to the sun and it was heating up and burned plant matter. Then something started growing out of it and got bigger and bigger. He then started to block it and keep it under lock and key as it progressed as it grew. He sent samples off for others to research, and now he's basically panicking about what this thing is and this whole situation that's unfolding, right? I can't make my mind up whether this is a spray-painted potato or this is actually some sort of biological matter that's fallen from the sky. Much like what happened in the Balkans not long ago about this red, weird matter that was growing from the floor, and people were just shocked about what it was and they pushed it away. Check this out, bro. It's pretty damn funky. Look.
Te pueden ver cómo ella transmite como una fuerza totalmente raro.
It's not one of those.
Y no creen en el meteorito. Yo quisiera que vinieran rápido a investigar este tipo de piedra. No sé de dónde vendrá, de qué galaxia. ahora que lo he puesto a tomar sol, veo que le están haciendo una especie como de orquídea o planta parásita, pero crece muy rápido, pero bajo el sol.
Heck, man. Oh, that's creepy. Oh, no. I'm totally creeped out. Yeah. Touching it with his finger. Oh my goodness. Oh, so he has it taped closed.
Si alguien me pudiera decir qué es, qué está creciendo ahí en mi piedra. Ha crecido demasiado rápido. Si bien, miren que hasta con iniciativa, todo se lo pienso mandar a mis amigos en el mundo. Ha crecido bastante. Sí, bastante. Ha cambiado de color. Ha cambiado de color. No coman ansias, no coman ansias. Todo se le va a mandar sus muestras. Es totalmente gratis. Solamente me escriben y yo le mando sus muestras. Ya creció bastante. A pesar que no lo he sacado del sol, ya ha crecido bastante y que puedo sacar pedazos y se los puedo enviar. Es algo totalmente increíble.
That is so creepy.
Me fascina. No tengas miedo ahora. Ay, ¿quién me tocó esto? Mamá. Ay.
Put your flashlight, bro.
Pegaste. Me te despegado.
That is so creepy. What the heck? What the heck do you guys think it is? Yeah, it's trippy.
Something quite major.
Oh man, I really gotta go.
My heart is absolutely breaking right now. One of the most inspirational public figures that I've ever listened to was Charlie Kirk. Probably listened to about 500.
I didn't even know about him until
Almost
he
agreed
did
with
get
them every single time.
assassinated.
The man took the time in front of young people to preach the gospel, to let people know about Jesus, how he loved on people, how he had open debate and didn't yell at people. My heart's broken because it's like there was a person out there that was speaking what I believed in and the conservative values that I had, that I lived every single day. And there was a man who had a platform that was smart enough and loving enough and wise enough to be able to have a platform to speak to people, to speak truth, to give gospel messages. And it's like so many times I just wanted to come at it with the Jesus approach, and he came at it with a approach that really made sense to people, and then on top of that he sprinkled Jesus on it. I'm hurt. Yes, everything's going to be okay, but I feel for his family, and it's like our voice has been taken away on such a huge platform, and that's not right. I forgive the shooter, whoever shot him for whatever reason, I forgive him. But I'm going to miss that guy. And thank you, Charlie Kirk, for standing up for the things that I believed in, and especially standing up for Jesus Christ. I just had to say this.
Holy shit, guys. This is getting weird. So, you know the original suspect that they arrested at the scene after Charlie Kirk was shot? This guy? Yeah, well, you obviously know that they let him go because they realized he didn't do it. Well, now they have re-arrested him. No joke. So his name is George Zinn. He's 71 years old, and we're now finding out from newly released police documents that he claimed he was the shooter to draw attention away from the real killer in hopes of becoming a, quote, martyr. He shouted twice at the scene, "I shot him, now shoot me." And after police detained him and asked him, "Where's the gun then?" he refused to tell them, obviously because he had no idea. Now, it was only when Zinn was later brought to hospital where he reportedly told officers that he was, quote, glad he claimed he shot Kirk so that the real suspect could get away. Now, it gets even stranger because while in hospital, he apparently didn't want investigators to look through his phone. And when they asked him why, he apparently straight up told them that's what he uses to look at child you-know-what material.
Ew.
Like, first of all, who just says that? And second of all, sure enough, according to the affidavit, when they looked, they found more than 20 images of child you-know-what, along with explicit messages about certain acts. Like, what is even going on? Now, Zinn has been arrested and charged numerous times over the past 30 years, mostly for apparently political trespassing in certain spaces, according to state records. And now he faces one count of obstructing justice, and he was booked in connection with those images on his phone. Weird. Holy shit, guys. This is getting weird. So, you know the original suspect that they arrested at the scene after Charlie Kirk was shot? This guy? Yeah, well, you obviously know that they let...
My heart.
Holy shit, guys. This is getting weird. So, you know the original suspect that they arrested at the scene after Charlie Kirk was shot? This guy? Yeah, well, you obviously know that they let him go because they realized...
Thank you for calling customer service. This is Veronica. How can I
I
help?
don't need to know your name. I just need you to help me with my reservation. That's all I need you to do, okay?
Sure. Can I have your confirmation number?
144662.
Okay, and if you can confirm the name on the reservation?
It's probably under my primary, so it should be Annie Jackson.
Okay, and how can I help you?
I am sick and I'm not going to be able to travel, so I need you to help me with the reservation.
Okay, so you'd like to cancel or reschedule?
I'm going to need to cancel for now, please.
Okay, one moment.
Sure.
You have 3 people on your reservation. The cancellation fee is $150 per person.
No, I'm not paying a cancellation fee. Absolutely not. Nope.
So you...
Hello. I had no plans on posting anything today, but here I am because a conversation happened and now I am processing it out loud with all of y'all. I don't know, maybe we're so wrapped up in cultural norms that when we see something different, it rattles us. I don't know, but I do know this. Some well-intentioned Christians, and by that I mean ignorant ones, have asked if I've ever prayed for my son to be healed. For those of you who may not know, my son is on the autism spectrum, and I am always like, healed from what? Healed from being exactly who he is? Healed from the way that his brain dances with the world in the rhythm that we're still learning to hear? Listen very carefully and very closely. Turn up the volume if you have to. My son is not a problem to solve. He is not a math equation that God got wrong. He is not broken. He is not defective. He is not missing some holy part that the rest of us apparently may have. He is a masterpiece. In every storm, in every silence, in every word, in every spark, he is a masterpiece. Do we face challenges? Hell yes, we do. Do I pray? Absolutely. Sometimes it's the only thing I got. But my prayer is never, God, make him normal. It's, God, help me see him more clearly. It's, God, help me love him in a way that he continues to bloom into the person you always intended him to be. It's, God, help me shut up when silence says more than words ever could. You don't fix masterpieces. You honor them. You sit in awe. You let them change how you see everything else. My son and all of his peers are not less than. Yes, he is different, but that difference is where wonder lives. It's where God whispers. And if that makes you uncomfortable, good. Holy things usually do. Maybe his difference isn't the exception. Maybe it's the invitation. So don't waste prayers trying to make him normal. Pray for a world with eyes to see him rightly and hearts big enough to love him well. Hello.
NASA just admitted what many thought impossible. 3. I/Atlas's tail isn't behaving like cosmic dust. It looks disturbingly like propulsion. Discovered on July 1st, 25, this interstellar object blazed into our solar system at 130,000 miles per hour. But the real shock came when NASA's own data showed a plume pointing toward the sun, a direction physics says can't happen. Not only that, its chemical makeup, 8 times richer in carbon dioxide than water, has never been seen in any other comet. Scientists are scrambling to explain it, some even arguing the tail acts more like an engine than a natural trail. But if this really is controlled propulsion, what does it mean for Earth? On July 1st, 2025, the Atlas survey in Chile logged a new object screaming into the solar system at 130,000 miles per hour. NASA's press office released the discovery details within hours. A third interstellar visitor, designated 3Y/Atlas, with a velocity and trajectory that left even seasoned astronomers double-checking their calculations. The object's path wasn't just fast, it was almost a straight shot, with an eccentricity over 6. That's a record for any interstellar object ever recorded. But the real surprise landed when NASA's first round of images showed something no one expected. Instead of a typical comet tail streaming away from the sun, 3I/Atlas displayed a plume pointing sunward, directly against the direction solar radiation should be pushing dust. This was not a minor detail buried in the data. It was the headline of the NASA press conference. Veteran comet researcher Bryce Bolin spelled out the weirdness. The tail, or plume, is blobby, and it's preferentially going into the direction of the sun. The Atlas team, along with NASA's planetary defense experts, scrambled to model the plume's shape. They compared it to every comet on record, none matched. The dust seemed too heavy to be swept back by solar wind, yet it was clearly being ejected from the sunlit face of the nucleus. Within days, the Gemini South Telescope in Chile and the Lowell Discovery Telescope in Arizona confirmed the same feature. A sunward plume, persistent and bright, visible in every new frame. The object's orbital plane was another anomaly. 3I/Atlas was coming in retrograde, nearly aligned with the ecliptic, tilted just 5 degrees from Earth's path. A configuration with less than a 1 in 500 chance of happening by accident. As the data poured in from over 30 observatories, the Minor Planet Center officially classified the object as 3I/Atlas, the third interstellar object ever confirmed. NASA's public statement gave no easy answers. The agency called it a comet, but admitted the tail's behavior was highly unusual. The press release didn't stop at the orbital numbers. It asked the world to look at the plume and consider what could possibly drive dust toward the sun. For planetary scientists, the case was open. For everyone else, the question was obvious. If this isn't just dust, what is it? But the next batch of images would only deepen the mystery. Hubble's high-resolution images from late July brought the mystery into sharp focus. The plume wasn't trailing behind 3I/Atlas like a textbook comet tail. It was pushing out from the sunlit face. NASA just admitted
Donald Trump stooping to an ugly new low, even for him. He's making a claim that will be heard the world over, reviving an old and familiar and rather tired tactic of accusing a perceived political enemy of treason. Only this time, the subject was his first-term predecessor, former President Barack Obama.
The leader of the gang was President Obama. He's guilty. It's not a question, I like to say, let's give it time. It's there. He's guilty. This was treason. This was every word you can think of. They tried to steal the election.
He made that baseless, unsubstantiated, rather ludicrous accusation today in the Oval Office. It follows baseless, unsubstantiated claims from his Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard said that President Obama's officials engaged in a, quote, seditious conspiracy and hid evidence that Russia did not interfere in the 2016 election. Donald Trump's claims today, an accusation of a crime that is punishable by death, so outrageous that they drew this rare rebuke from President Barack Obama's office. It reads, quote, out of respect for the office of the presidency, our office does not normally dignify the constant nonsense and misinformation flowing out of this White House with a response. But these claims are outrageous enough to merit one. These bizarre allegations are ridiculous and a weak attempt at distraction. Nothing in the document issued last week undercuts the widely accepted conclusion that Russia worked to influence the 2016 presidential election, but did not successfully manipulate any votes. These findings were affirmed in a 2020 report by the Bipartisan Senate Intelligence Committee, led by then-Chairman Marco Rubio. The very same Marco Rubio, little Marco to Donald, who currently serves as Trump's Secretary of State and National Security Advisor. His report concluded that Russia conducted an influence campaign in 2016 to do this, quote, harm the Clinton campaign, tarnish an expected Clinton presidential administration, help the Trump campaign after Trump became the presumptive Republican nominee, and undermine the U.S. democratic process. Donald Trump stooping to an ugly...
God damn! You okay?
Milk.
Happy birthday!
Full coffee, fat pig.
Oh, no.
Hey! That wasn't very nice. That wasn't very nice. Can I do it to you?
No, good job. Oh, we spilled a little, but that's okay. Oh, don't look at it. Oh, did you panic? It's okay.
Hallelujah!
That's loud.
Okay, sorry.
Do it nicely.
Oh, yeah.
We listen and we don't judge. Sometimes when you have a booger, I feed it to you.
God damn!
There's a really famous mystery called the Dyatlov Pass, and it's about these hikers in the 50s, these 9 really experienced hikers who are going for their what's called their level 3 mountaineering tests. And the way you pass your level 3, you have to map out this route. They use the Ural Mountains, so big snow-swept, like huge icy mountains. And so they brought cameras with them. They set off on this journey, and I think they reached the first checkpoint. I forget what it is, but they didn't make it to whatever second checkpoint or whatever it was. And there was a protocol for the people who were sort of sponsoring this test, where if they missed a checkpoint, there's like this big search that goes out to make sure they're okay. So they missed the checkpoint, this protocol is enacted, and not only are there pictures that we will get from the hikers, but there was cameras that came with the search crew. They follow the trail that they're supposed to be on. This is, again, there's no trees. It's just like the tundra. It's like ice and snow and mountains. And they come across this mountain off in the distance, and they see on the windswept side of the mountain, basically halfway up, are these tents that are just these like canvas tents, barely seen, but they're situated right in the middle of the slope, which is like strategically one of the worst places you can place these tents. So immediately they're thinking, one, it has to be the hikers, because who else is out here right now? But two, why in the world would these incredibly talented hikers, why would they ever pitch their tent there? This is the most hazardous part. The wind can whip you off. So they see these tents. They're in the wrong spot. They go up to the tents, and the hikers aren't there. They're not in there. There's pictures of this too. The tents inside had stacks of clothing neatly folded and placed in the corners, like they left their clothes behind. And the tents themselves were cut open, like with a knife, but somehow they deduced that they had been cut open, but from the inside. So presumably one or multiple of the mountaineers chose to cut open these tents in like negative 50-degree weather. And then there were all these prints in the snow that led down the mountain. And some of the prints were bare feet. Some had one shoe and one barefoot. And it's all 9 of the hikers. They spotted these prints, and they follow the prints down the hill or the mountain. It's a big space. And they find this little crops of trees. And when they get to the trees, they find 3 of the hikers. And they're all deceased. And there's one who's basically almost naked, wrapped up on the ground. There's pictures of this. There's one who I believe was draped over one of the branches up in one of the trees. And then another one that was also on the ground as well. And there's these deep scratch marks in the tree, like gouges on the tree, as if some animal had been scratching at this tree. And all 3 of these hikers are deceased. There's more footprints that lead away from those 3 about a mile, kind of back in the direction the search party had come from. And there's this big snowdrift that created sort of like a snow cave underneath it. And the footprints lead into the snow cave where the other 6 hikers were. And they're all deceased as well. Except in there, the hikers had seemingly exchanged clothing, and they know this because the women were wearing men's clothing and vice versa. Some of their clothes had trace levels of radiation, and some of them had parts of their face removed, it looked like. Lips, nose, ears, it almost looked like surgical precision removal. They're all deceased. And one of the injuries, there was a person in there who their chest had basically been caved in, and it was deduced that the impact it would have taken, the impact would have been equivalent to like a speeding car smashing into you at full speed. But there's no sign of anything that could have done this damage. And so they're all deceased. And so the Soviet government, they launched an investigation. And during this investigation, they discover that there was a huge military exercise, a Russian military exercise taking place in the Ural Mountains, who had no idea about these hikers. They have no clue that a level 3 mountaineering test is going on. It's not even on their radar. And they're 15, 20 miles away. And one of their senior commanders, on the same night that it's believed the hikers all died and whatever happened to them happened, he began noticing all these strange lights in the sky over the Ural Mountains, going up and down and moving all around, to the point where he actually thought it was another country, a foreign country. Are they invading us? And he literally thought it was like an invasion of Russia. And he sent out messages to say, hey, what's happening over there? Having no idea that he was pointing to the one spot where these hikers were. So during this investigation, they discover that families are clamoring for information about their lost loved ones. Nobody has any idea what's going on. And suddenly the Soviet government says, we're going to shut this investigation down. All we know is that the 9 hikers who died from an unknown, unnatural force. Sealed. There's a really famous mystery called the Dyatlov Pass, and it's about these hikers in the 50s.
Hello?
Can I speak to Paul, please?
This is he.
This is Eddie with the animal shelter. How you doing today?
I'm okay. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I just wanted to let you know we're leaving your house now, and we just dropped off the rescue pet you adopted, so it's good to go.
Okay. You dropped it off with my girlfriend, right?
No girlfriend here. Just been ringing the doorbell, knocking for the last few minutes, and no one answered, so just left them there.
Well, she must have just stepped out for a walk or something. She'll be right back. I mean,
Well, I already left, so got a few more deliveries, and left Lucifer in your cat door.
What? Who?
Put Lucifer in through your cat door. He's inside NASA. He's getting acquainted in there.
We didn't adopt any animal named Lucifer. We adopted a beautiful Persian cat named Mr. Squeakers.
Wait a second. Did the shelter not call you yesterday?
No. I was just getting good too. Come on.
There's a really famous...
Hello?
Can I speak to Paul, please?
This.
And left Lucifer in your cat door.
What? Who?
Put Lucifer in through your cat door. He's inside now, so he's getting acquainted in there.
We didn't adopt any animal named Lucifer. We adopted a beautiful Persian cat named Mr. Squeakers.
Wait a second. Did the shelter not call you yesterday?
No, I did not receive a call from the shelter. What's going on?
This is kind of embarrassing. Sorry, but Mr. Squeakers was already adopted.
Nah, that's impossible.
Oh, that happened with me.
We signed the papers, we paid everything.
Well, probably shouldn't tell you this, but another couple came in. It looked pretty well off, you know what I mean? So
No, I don't know what you mean. What the hell does that mean?
shelter thought they could provide a better home.
You can't do that. That's wrong.
Well, it doesn't matter. Good news is they replaced your pet with another one. So Lucifer's already in the house.
No, I'm going to take that up with your manager, but you need to get that goddamn cat out of my house.
Yeah, no, he's not a cat.
What do you mean he's not a cat?
Lucifer's a possum.
What?
Yeah, possums
You
are
want a possum in my house?
the next big thing for house pets.
What are you talking about?
Lots of families been adopting possums lately. We thought you might like
They're
it.
disgusting. They're gross.
Oh, that's rude.
No, they're not.
No, you're rude. You need to
They get rid of ticks.
Okay, well, first of all, no
They
one's
can't get
home,
rabies.
so I legally can't come in. And secondly, I already dropped off the little guy, so technically he's yours now.
Possums are so ugly, they're cute.
Not my problem, all right? You're just going to have to take that up with the
Yes,
shelter.
it is your problem.
You have to take that up with the shelter.
What am I going to do?
Look, Paul, you've already done enough, okay? You're providing a good home to a possum in need. Just remember, he gets a little bit moody, though, when he doesn't get fed his afternoon mouse.
I'm not feeding him freaking mouse. What are you, crazy?
You're going to make him angry if you don't feed him some mice.
Angry?
Yeah, Lucifer's got a big personality, but you're going to grow to love him.
You're not listening to
My
me.
cheeks hurt.
I don't want a possum. You need to take control of this situation right now. You need to go back to my house and get that animal out of my house.
All right, okay, calm down. All right, listen.
Calm down.
Listen, Paul, I probably shouldn't do this, but for an extra $100, I can help you out.
$100?
You want me to help you or
Are you
not?
trying to extort me now? We paid for Mr. Squeakers. We didn't pay for Lucifer the possum.
Well, now just hear me out here, okay? I can break the back window of your place, make it look like a robbery.
No, I'm not going to do
Oh,
that.
no.
That's against the law. What the hell's wrong with you?
Well, don't worry, I'll get in there, I'll grab the possum, I'll be out there before the cops come.
You're not going to break into my house to get the animal that you already stuck in there.
All right, I'm just warning you, if your girlfriend comes home and surprises Lucifer, he's probably going to bite her.
You need to go to my house, get that thing, and I need to call my girlfriend so that the possum doesn't bite her.
Well, actually, she already knows about the possum.
She doesn't know.
Up on you.
What?
Yeah, your girlfriend Natalie set you up. She said you were nervous about adopting a rescue pet.
Are you kidding?
No, I'm serious. It's all a joke. She thought this might make the process a little easier. But hey, if you want me to, I'll still break that window for $100.
No.
Okay.
Don't get upset when you hear that people are talking bad about you.
Yeah, it's none of your
They need to
business.
talk about you. Because when they speak of themselves, no one listens. This is the most important thing I have to tell you. And I want you to carry this wisdom with you for life, because it will set you free. And listen, my child, don't be afraid of losing people. What you should truly fear is losing yourself.
Indeed.
Let me tell you something life taught me, slowly and gently. The more you try to control something, the more it ends up controlling you. So stop worrying so much about what others think. Be unique, be unforgettable, be rooted in your essence. But never forget to simply be you. You were not born to be chosen. You were born to be seen, to be felt, to be loved. Not for what you do, but for who you are. And when you truly understand this, something changes deep inside. You stop begging for crumbs. You begin to choose. You choose who receives your energy, who deserves
Is it some of
your
this
gentleness,
AI stuff?
who stays, who goes. And most importantly, you finally choose yourself. Not because someone told you you're worthy, but because now you feel it. And that, my child, that is power. But wait, my dear, you'll never see this video again. It'll disappear unless you save it. Save now and follow. I am here to guide you back to the light.
So
My dad says to me, it's Sunday.
That's a good message, but I don't know about you guys. Have you seen all these AI accounts popping up everywhere? It's insane. There was a good message behind that. What she was saying is true, but AI, man, it's everywhere.
Hey, can we go to that real nice breakfast place down the street here? I said, yeah, Dad. After we get donuts, well, I'll take you to go get breakfast there. He goes, oh, good. I can get those fancy pancakes with all the strawberries and whipped cream. I said, Dad, you can get whatever you want. He says, all right, let's go get breakfast there. So we get our donuts, hop in the car, we head over to the breakfast place, and everything else, which it's very nice, very busy. And we walk in, and we're lucky we get a table, you know. And as we're walking by, there is this beautiful family, a beautiful black family that just went to church. The mom and dad both had, you know, the dad had a suit on, mom had a beautiful dress, 4 kids, 3 girls and a boy, all dressed to the nines. I mean, they were dressed up like you just can't even believe it. And right next to them was another couple with 2 kids, and they were all dressed up. And they looked amazing together. I mean, it was just unbelievable. And the waitress came over and she said, yeah, can I take your order? I said, yeah. I said, I'd like to buy the breakfast for them over there. And she goes, you want to buy their breakfast? I said, yeah, they look spectacular, that they're having fun. I want to buy their breakfast. So the waitress walks over and tells him, and the guy, you know, looks over at me, waves, and I said, hey, and wave, and he goes, I'm getting breakfast for my brother and his wife and kids too. I don't think you want to do that. And I said, no, I insist. I want to, you guys all look great. You obviously just went to church. He says, yes, sir. We just got back from church. My brother's is a volunteer over at the church, and we go every Sunday. And I said, it looks like you got your hands full. He goes, oh, it's a family day event. I said, I looked at the waitress. I said, I got both their breakfasts, put them on my check. And she said, are you sure? I said, yeah, put them on my check. He goes, wow, man. He goes, that's really nice of you. I said, don't worry about it. So my dad and I go back, and, you know, we order our breakfast and everything else, and we're sitting there waiting for our food. And it's probably taken about 10 minutes. And just as our food's getting ready to come out, I get a tap on my shoulder, and I stand up, and he shakes my hand. He goes, hey, man, I really appreciate you doing that. And the brother walks over. He says, hey, man, and shook my hand. He said, that's really nice of you to buy our breakfast. We really appreciate it. I said, no problem. I said, it's great to see a couple of wonderful families all dressed up for church on Sunday. You guys look spectacular. I hope you have a blessed Sunday. And they said, well, bless you, and we really appreciate it, and we'll keep you in our prayers. I said, what more could I ask for? You know? So my dad goes, well, that was really nice. And I go, that was really nice, you know? And just as we get our breakfast, these 2 guys walk by us, and they stop dead in their tracks. And we're just getting ready to eat our food, and I look up at them, and they go, you're that liberal guy. I said, excuse me? He goes, yeah. You're that liberal guy. You know, the liberal guy that wanted Kamala, whatever the hell her name was. You wanted her to win. You said she was going to win. She got crushed, man. You lost bad. Oh, did you lose? Man, you were so wrong. I said, yep, she lost. And he goes, man, we feel really sorry for you. You took it so, I mean, what a beating you took. You know, I'll tell you what, since you took such a beating and I feel sorry for you, let me pick up your check. I said, oh man, I don't think that's a good idea. He goes, no, I insist. I want to pick up your check. And I said, well, if you insist. He goes, where's your waitress? I said, right there. And he goes, waitress, are you, she goes, yeah, that's mine. He goes, I'm picking up his check. And she looks at me and I look at her and I go, I'm fine with it. And she goes, okay. And I said, well, thank you very much. So So we finished our breakfast, walked out the door, and as we're driving away, my dad looks at me and goes, "How much you think that breakfast is going to cost them?" I said, "Well, I figured the breakfast that those people had that I picked up was at least $200 or more." And I said, "Our breakfast was $45. So I said, they're looking at a $250 check. And he goes, "Oh, are they going to be mad?" I said, "Couldn't happen to a nicer pair of guys, could it, Dad?" He goes, "Yeah, they're going to get exactly what they got coming." And I go, "Yep, that's what every Trump supporter has. They got exactly what they deserve."
Flight attendants from different countries. Thailand. China. United States. Russia. Germany. Vietnam. Flight attendants from different countries.
Little puppy dog. You got her good. Oh wow, she just got kicked in the face.
Alright, now lose it. Just lose it. Go crazy. On this episode to slap some shit together, we're making pull-apart pizza. Lazy meal night, okay? Pat me on the shoulder because this one's a good one.
I'm hungry already.
Anytime you want, I don't care. I got some pepperoni slices, and I just cut them into 4. That's it. You're going to need some shredded cheese, a big-ass bowl, a stick of butter that I will be melted in the microwave, some pizza sauce, some garlic, and Italian seasoning. So let's go. We're going to start by melting the butter.
Where are you at again?
Okay, so my butter is melted. What you're going to
Okay,
do in there is some
so
garlic.
the people that took you there aren't going to bring you back.
Put some Italian seasoning in there. This is what it's going to look like. Okay? So you're going to open up your can of biscuits.
Yeah, we can. You want, I can just walk back home.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Love you too.
Bye.
Yeah, I hate those biscuits.
Okay.
PTSD. It freaks me out every time. I hate it.
And then you're going to just separate them in the bowl. That's it. Okay? I'll get them cut up. Pretty much what you nasty ass. Now, for this part, I like to spray my spoon so that the biscuits don't stick. And I know I'm going to put butter in here, but that's okay. So I'm going to pour some of this butter here like this. Now, make sure you toss them biscuits and get them taken apart as much as you can.
Okay.
And there. Yeah, it's looking good.
Do it, girl.
I'm going to take all of your pepperonis. And then I like to leave a little bit for the top. Okay?
Yummy.
Right? We'll start with that. Now get your baking dish. And then I just like to put some parchment. You can use aluminum foil, but I've just not had the best luck with that. And just pour
more butter.
But the biscuit kind of soaks up some of the butter, so I just like to have it on the top. Bread is going to look like this, okay? I pour it on your pan. I like to just pour it in the middle and use my hands. Now my oven is at 375. The biscuits call for 350.
I'm so
with
hungry.
all the extra stuff, I usually just turn it up and just kind of move it around in your pan.
Turn it up, girl.
Spaces as much as possible. If your biscuits are kind of stuck together, just pull them apart. This is so good, and it is going to be a hit in your house. It takes a little bit of cheese on the top just to kind of make it like a layer, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the pizza sauce. Just hang with me, okay? Just take your last little bit of pepperoni. This is what it looks like. I'm going to put it in the oven. I'll let you know when I pull it out how long it is.
Oh, yeah, girl. Yum.
All right, we're gonna
You dip it in the sauce, huh?
take my pizza sauce and I'm going to warm it up in the microwave. Pizza sauce is all warmed up, and let me plate this up and show you how we do it. All right, so that's what it looks like. It is super easy. It took 375, 25 minutes, and it was ready to go. So, an easy meal on the table in 30 minutes. Looks really good. So if you like more content like this, you like shopping hauls, more mom, realistic bullshit, hit the follow button. Let's be friends. Thanks for watching. Love you. Bye.
Whoa. The car is on fire. What the heck? Pop the hood. What the heck? What? Oh my gosh. Yeah, turn on the windshield wipers. What the heck, dude? Oh my goodness. Open that hood. Oh, man. It's not looking too good for you, buddy. Hello? Yeah. Think it's gonna blow up? Oh my gosh. I don't think the car's gonna make it. Wow. Okay. Wow. It's fully engulfed now. Hope you had some insurance there.
I can tell you, you'll see those files that I shared with you. They did find stuff. There was an incident in October of 1982 over an ICBM base where UFOs popped up, was observed over this base where the missiles are pointed at us, United States. These UFOs perform incredible maneuvers. They split apart. They fuse back together. They'd appear and disappear. And right at the end of this 4-hour period, the launch control codes for the ICBMs lit up. Something entered the correct codes. The missiles were fired up and ready to launch, and they could not shut it down. The Russian officers were panicking. The UFOs they disappeared. The launch control system goes back to normal. Colonel Sokolov and his team came in, took the thing apart, could not figure out what it was. It wasn't a power surge or EMPs or some of the baloney excuses that our country has given for similar events involving our nuclear missiles. They thought it was a message from wherever the UFOs were from. And that's a chilling thing. I mean, we were a couple of seconds away from World War III starting, and the UFOs were responsible for it. And I can tell you,
Did you hear that yesterday 3i Atlas sent a message to space, and it is throwing the scientific community into a tizzy, and you won't believe what the message says. I'm going to tell you, but do you think we should respond back to it, or do you think it's dangerous? So, as you know, 3i Atlas is that interstellar object that is passing right by Earth in November, and the top scientists have been saying, hey, look, this doesn't seem like an asteroid. It doesn't look like a comet. It actually looks like it may be an alien craft, an alien vehicle from a different galaxy. Well, the satellite dishes in Chile yesterday received a message, and the head scientist there said it was like a Morse code-esque message. It was radio frequency, and we didn't know how to interpret it or crack the code, is what he said. So they ended up plugging it into ChatGPT and saying, hey, can you solve this? And it did, and it spit out what the message is saying, and it says,
what is it?
Hello, friends. Don't be worried. Don't be scared. We watch Earth. We watch you. We return to elevate Earth. And then it went silent for a bit, and at the end it said, hang tight, friends. Hang tight, friends. Twice in a row. And so my question is, are they friendly? Do we respond and say, hey, when are you coming back? Is there anything we should know, or do we just stay?
Are you coming for dinner?
But this changes everything about humanity's future and what we know, that we are not alone. Did you hear that yesterday 3i
I was today years old when I decided to listen to the actual lyrics to this epic song.
You sheltered me from harm, kept me warm, kept me warm. You gave my life to me, set me free, set me free.
Oh, that's sweet. Really? Can you do that to us now?
What it's You never said too much, but still you showed I'm watching you. Nobody else could ever know. The part of me that can't let go. And I would give anything I know. Would give up my life, my heart, my home. I would give everything I own just to have you back again. Is there someone you know you're loving them so, but taking them all for granted? You may lose them one day, someone takes them away, and they don't hear the words you long to say. I would give anything I own just to touch you once again.
Oh, that was sweet. Oh. Well, anywho's. So on that note, boys and girls, we are going to go to our first music break. And on this break, we have Gravity from Krakow, Poland. And they shall be singing Throw You Away, Take a Walk in My Shoes, My Last Goodbye. Then we have Dan Medina, who is or was a member of Gravity. His name is Dan Medina, and he's going to be singing I Won't Let You Go. And then, of course, we have Mr. Fred Johnson III from Canyon County, California. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this music break.
So I walk down the street, thinking all the things you said you need. Well, don't you tell me, baby, how do you feel? So I walk down the street, thinking all the things you said you need. Well, don't you tell me, baby, how do you feel? Don't you take a walk? Well, don't you take a walk? In my shoes, why don't you take a walk? Before you tell me what to do, don't you take a walk? Don't you take a walk? My shoes, why don't you take a walk? Before you tell me what to do, no, it's easy. You tell me what to do. Have you ever stopped to think all the things that I've been through? No, it's easy. You tell me what to do. Have you ever stopped to think all the things that I've been through? Don't you take a walk? Don't you take a walk? In my shoes, don't you, baby, take a walk? Before you tell me what to do, don't you take a walk? Don't you take a walk? In my shoes, don't you, baby, take a walk? Before you tell me what to do. things come being said. Streets of these high going to dead end. Listening to waves on windy days, standing by the wall, making sense of it all. So alone in the dark, all alone in the dark, all alone in the dark. You're alone in the dark. 'Cause I won't let you go. You're so far away, always with my soul. I won't let you go. Oh, you're so far away, always with me in my soul. Yeah, yeah. Looking for a reason, not a lead. Mystified, lives inside a world selling us all. Oh, she's alone in the dark, all alone in the dark, all alone in the dark, so alone in the dark. 'Cause I won't let you go. I won't let you go. You're so far away, always with me in my soul. Yeah, yeah. And I won't let you go. And I won't let you go. Waiting here on this cold, lonely night without you. The tension's overbearing. Wondering, are you coming back home again? To inspire fondness with love. Where did our love go wrong? My sugar. Why did I make you cry? Whispers flow through my mind when I think about you. That warm feeling
Guy. That was Fred Johnson III from Canyon County, California. My screen looks really weird, but hopefully it doesn't look weird to you, besides the fact that it's me on there. Yeah, welcome back. Welcome back from break. Also, yeah, so if you guys don't know, this last weekend, so it was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I was working security in Ignacio for the, I believe it's Sky Ute Fair and Powwow, and it was pretty epic. It was very nice to see so many tribes from all over the place dancing and doing their thing and making sure everything stayed safe there. So that is why I am recording today on Hump Day. Because, yeah, I hate to leave you guys hanging, but I didn't have time to pre-record something, so I decided to do that this evening on the 17th. I'm also planning to record something tomorrow. I might do it times 2. Let's see, yeah, for last Sunday and then for this Saturday. And then I will be recording live on Sunday. So look forward to that. The thought for the day is life is fragile. Handle with prayer. Let's see what the one for last hour should be. Ideas are a lot like children. Our own are wonderful. And everybody else's sucks. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so that is why we are doing this on Hump Day. And I was also thinking about doing this more often because I enjoy it, and I could also get more revenue and get more listening time with you guys, and hopefully you like a 3-day week, or maybe more. Maybe I'll do more than a 3-day week. So we're filling it out for now. We're going to start off with 3, then we'll do more if it seems like that's what we should do. Alrighty, let's get back in to our Trippy TikToks.
Because I was a bus rider growing up. I think that helped mold who I am today. Some of y'all were car riders. I know it when I meet you. Your hands are soft. You're not built like a bus rider. Car riders, your day started off with a Lunchable and a high five. The last thing you saw was a minivan full of love. Bus riders, our day started off with death threats. If you miss the bus, so help me. I'm in there ironing my pants. They're on me. I'm going, oh my goodness. And the bus was lawless back in the day. I grew up way out in the country. My bus was K through 12. The whole school was on one bus. It should not be that way. We grew up fast, man. I was a 3rd grader sitting next to 10th graders. I was hearing words I couldn't comprehend, sentences I didn't understand. That's because the bus was the internet before the internet ever existed. It was Google on wheels, and the further you went on the back of that bus, the deeper in the internet you got. That last row was the dark web, my man. Because I was a bus rider.
Stroop. Uh-oh. What on earth is going on here? I don't even know what I just saw. The woman was too stunned to speak.
I just delivered your package and somebody stole it. Oh no.
What the heck? They're getting brazen these days. What the heck is going on here? diffuser. What on earth? I don't understand what is happening right now. Oh, no time. What the hell? I don't get it. Okay. No. 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 That ain't working for me. No thanks. Take your ghetto bumper infuser and get out of here.
Breaking news coming in within the past hour. Nuclear escalation now official. Moscow ditches the deal and aims at the West. Russia has just officially withdrawn from the 1987 INF nuclear treaty, a cornerstone arms agreement that had previously limited the deployment of intermediate-range missiles across Europe and Asia. But that's not all. Alongside the announcement, the Kremlin unveiled a new weapon, a hypersonic missile called Oreshnik, with a reported range of up to 5,000 kilometers and deployment expected in Belarus. According to Moscow, this is a direct response to the growing presence of U.S. and NATO missile systems near Russian borders. Just days earlier, Donald Trump ordered the repositioning of 2 U.S. nuclear submarines into what he called appropriate regions, following what he described as nuclear threats from former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev. Medvedev had warned that any miscalculation could trigger the activation of Russia's dead hand system, an automated nuclear retaliation protocol. The Kremlin has since urged moderation, but emphasized that all strategic decisions are under the full authority of President Vladimir Putin. Former U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton called Trump's move irresponsible, warning that it could provoke Moscow into interpreting the shift as a prelude to nuclear conflict. And now, with Russia not only leaving the INF treaty, but developing next-generation hypersonic weapons, analysts are raising alarms. A new era of nuclear tension is unfolding. And the world...
Buddhist monk asked his students a question. He said, if you're carrying a cup of coffee and someone bumps into you, why did you spill the coffee? Each and every one of his students said, because someone bumped into me. And he said, no. The reason why you spilled the coffee is because that's what you were carrying in your cup. If you were carrying water, you would have spilled water. Then he said something profound. He said, whenever life shakes you, whatever you're carrying is going to spill out. So if you're carrying fear, jealousy, anger, greed, that's what's going to spill out. But if you're carrying love, compassion, kindness, empathy, that's what's going to spill out. So each and every day, you should pause and think to yourself, what am I carrying in my cup today? I like that.
I need you to listen very carefully, because what I'm about to tell you is the only reason that you ever suffer in your mind. This is the root cause. So listen with your ears and not your triggers. The following sentence has caused more problems in your life than you realize. Here it is. You need things to be the way you need them to be in order to keep your peace. That's it. That's the problem. Because when things don't go the way you wanted them to go, you lose your peace. And that tells me you never had peace. You had dependency. Dependency on the outside world going how you needed it to go, so the inside of you could feel okay. But here's the truth. Peace was never gone. You just left it. You turned your back on it because you thought you needed something else in order to feel okay. But you are already okay. Peace isn't out there. It's in here. And the moment you stop needing life to behave, you return to it. See, people don't suffer because of what's happening. They suffer because they need it to be a certain way. And when it's not, they resist it. And that resistance is the suffering. You think you're upset because they didn't text you back, or because a relationship ended, or because life didn't go your way, or someone had a difference of opinion. But really, you're upset because you made a story up about how things should have gone, and now you're clinging to it. The mindset, this isn't supposed to happen, and then you believed it. And this is where most people destroy their relationships. They don't know how to handle disappointment, so they punish their partner for not reading their mind. They withhold. They shut down. They emotionally spike and then blame their partner for not regulating them. At that point, it's no longer a partnership. It's a parent-child dynamic. Your partner becomes your emotional manager, constantly de-escalating, tiptoeing, walking on eggshells, trying to keep you stable because you don't know how to sit with "this didn't go my way." They didn't sign up to be your regulator. They signed up to be your co-author. And if you don't learn to discipline your disappointments, they will resent you. They will grow exhausted. And eventually, sadly, they will leave. Now, I've noticed in the comments of previous videos, people completely miss the point when they hear me talk about peace and surrender, and they say, so what? Am I just supposed to let people walk all over me, stay in a bad relationship, be a doormat? No. This is not about tolerating mistreatment. This is about not abandoning your seat when mistreatment happens. You don't leave from rage. You don't collapse into despair. You don't lash out in control. You leave without disturbance. You say, we clearly don't align. We don't agree on how love is expressed here, and that's okay. You walk away from the relationship, not from fear, not from hatred, and not from needing them to change in order for you to feel okay. That's the difference. And someone else is going to comment, okay, but what if you're married? You can't just walk away. Fair enough. You're right. Marriage adds complexity. Vows, children, finances, shared life. But you don't physically have to walk away to come back to your seat. You can come back to yourself without fixing your partner. You fix it by freeing yourself from needing them to change in order for you to feel okay. You let go internally. You stop clinging. You stop needing reality to shift so your nervous system can stabilize. You stay, but you stop resisting. You show up not from control, but from calm clarity. And that energy, that peace, may shift the entire relationship. Not because you forced it, but because you surrendered the need. And if, after all of that, the relationship still doesn't align, you'll know the decision wasn't made in chaos, it was made in love. So what's the shift? You stop needing the world to go your way in order to feel okay. You stop outsourcing peace. You stop grasping for control. You stop expecting people to give you what you won't give yourself. And if you're realizing right now how often you've done this, don't skip this. Go to the top of my page and watch the pinned video I did on covert contracts. It will show you the unconscious deals that you've been trying to enforce without speaking them. That video will expose why you're so exhausted, why nobody can ever love you right, and why every relationship keeps repeating the same cycles. It's not because you're unlovable. It's not because you're broken. It's because you keep handing people a silent rule book that they never agree to follow and blaming them when they break the rules. That's not connection, that's control. And control always leads to suffer. So what now? You come home. You stop chasing peace. You stop running from what is. You sit, you breathe. You allow life to unfold without needing it to match your preference. And when you do, you return to your seat, the observer, the stillness, the only place that peace ever lived in the first place. If your peace depends on outcomes, it's not peace. It's a performance. Let it go. Discipline your disappointments before they become patterns, before they become cycles, before they become the thing that pushes away the very people you say you love. And if this hits you hard, my book, Who's Talking, is now available on Amazon and Audible, read by me. It's a guide to help you return to the seat of awareness and learn to lead your emotional village instead of being run by it. If you need direct support, I offer one-on-one coaching to help anchor and root yourself so you don't spiral every time life doesn't go the way you need it to go in order to feel
What? September 12th, 2025. This is on an airplane? Holy shnikes. Wow. That's intense. What a sweet baby. too cute.
An older man was walking when a young man approached him. "Do you remember me?" the young man asked. The old man studied his face, then shook his head. "I'm sorry, I don't." The young man smiled. "I was your student. And now, I'm a teacher too." The old man's eyes lit up with curiosity. "At what moment did you decide to become a teacher?" The young man took a deep breath and told his story. "One day when I was still in school, a friend of mine came in with a beautiful new watch. I wanted it, so I took it. Shortly after, my friend noticed it was missing. He immediately told you, our teacher. You addressed the class and said that whoever took the watch should return it. I was too ashamed. I didn't move. I didn't say a word. I didn't say a... So you locked the door and told all of us to stand in a circle. You said you would search each of our pockets, but only if we all closed our eyes. And so, one by one, you checked every student's pocket. You found the watch in mine, but then you kept searching. You kept moving. You never stopped.
That's pretty
cool. When you were done, you simply said, "We have the watch." And that was it. You never called my name. You never exposed me. You never humiliated me. It was the most shameful moment of my life. But you never made me feel ashamed. You never scolded me. You never lectured me. But I understood your message loud and clear. That day, you saved my dignity forever. The young man looked at the old teacher with gratitude. "Do you remember that day, Professor?" The old man smiled gently. "I remember the stolen watch. But I don't remember you. Because I also closed my eyes while looking. And that's the lesson. We all make mistakes. We all have moments we regret. But the way we are treated in those moments, that's what shapes us." This teacher understood something powerful. Correction without humiliation. Discipline without destruction. He knew that embarrassing a child wouldn't teach him a lesson. It would only leave a scar. But protecting his dignity while guiding him toward the right path, that would stay with him forever. Because people don't remember every word you say. They don't remember every lesson you teach. But they do remember how you made them feel. So the next time you have a choice to tear someone down or to lift them up, remember this story. Because the most powerful lessons, they don't come from punishment. They come from grace. All right, go out there and make today yours. An older man...
Late on the night of May 27, 1995, a long-haul truck driver named Devin Williams pulled his gigantic refrigerated semi-truck into a truck stop in a city called Kingman, Arizona. After putting his truck in park, Devin reached over and...
Kingman is super haunted. I don't know if you've ever been there. It's like, it seems really small, which I'm pretty sure it is, but it is full of ghosts.
Grabbed the sleeping bag off the passenger seat and began to unroll it. Devin would normally get out and use the bathroom and brush his teeth before going to sleep for the night. But this night, Devin was so exhausted that instead of going in, he just unfurled that sleeping bag and then climbed behind the front two seats of his truck and got into what's called the sleeper cab, which is an area behind the front two seats in the cab where drivers can lay down and rest. Devin had been on the road for the last 4 days, basically non-stop, and all he wanted to do was just finish the stupid route and get back home to his wife, Mary Lou, and their 3 kids in the tiny town of Americus in Kansas. Devin hated being away from his family for long periods of time, which unfortunately was part of his job, being a long-haul truck driver. But they needed the money because he and his wife had just bought a new house and it was a total fixer-upper, and so they needed to do a whole bunch of repairs to turn that house into a home. And so, missing his family and just wishing he was done with this route, Devin laid in his sleeping bag in the sleeper cab trying to fall asleep but he just couldn't. And unfortunately, as Devin knew, if he didn't sleep this night, then he would have to take another break later on this route to rest, because he couldn't just continue to drive with absolutely no sleep. And so taking an additional break that he was not prepping for could affect his ability to get home on time. It was Saturday night, and the strawberries and lettuce that Devin was hauling inside of his truck were due in Kansas City, Missouri, 1,300 miles away, on Monday morning. And so Devin began doing the math in his head. If he stopped a little while later to take another sleep break, would he still be able to cover those 1,300 miles by Monday? And he just wasn't sure. Everybody at the trucking company where Devin worked knew the 29-year-old as being very easygoing and good-natured. Trucking was very hard. People drove insanely long hours on very little sleep, and some people even took drugs to stay awake even longer to make sure they hit their deadlines. And so truckers have kind of earned the reputation of being very rough and tough people. And Devin certainly looked rough and tough. He was this big guy who wore cowboy hats, he had a big Fu Manchu mustache, he had tattoos, but in reality, despite how he looked, he was actually like a gentle giant. And really all he talked about were his kids, who he was totally devoted to. The only time anyone at this company saw Devin get mad was when his work interfered with his ability to see his family. And now, as Devin tossed and turned inside of a sleeper cab, he was getting mad because he was thinking this stupid route and his inability to sleep during this particular break was very likely going to interfere with seeing his family. And after an hour of Devin getting angrier and so not sleeping at all, he finally just gave up on sleep. He chucked his sleeping bag, he climbed out of the cab, and he headed into the truck stop, where he went to the bathroom, he got a bite to eat, and then he called his boss, and he told him that he had just made a stop in order to sleep, but he couldn't, and so he was just going to hit the road again. But don't worry, even though I need another break in order to sleep, I will be in Kansas City on Monday morning with this delivery on time. After speaking to his boss, Devin left the truck stop, climbed back into his truck, he fired it up, and then before long, he was back on the highway driving east. Devin's boss was a guy named Tom Wilson, and he didn't find anything unusual about this phone call he got from Devin. Maybe it was a little unusual that Devin was unable to sleep, and that he called his boss to say he was unable to sleep, but Devin sounded totally normal. And so that night, Tom was not worried at all that Devin would not make it to Kansas City by Monday morning. Devin was like one of his most reliable guys, and so if Devin said he was going to be there on Monday morning, even if he needed extra breaks along the way, then he would be there on Monday morning. But on Monday morning, the distribution center in Kansas City, Missouri, where Devin was supposed to go and drop off the lettuce and strawberries, called Tom Wilson and they said, "Hey, your driver's not here yet. What's going on?" Now, at first, Tom was actually really annoyed with the distribution center because he felt like, okay, the clock has just struck the deadline. Devin will likely arrive in the next few minutes, and they're prematurely calling to complain. And so Tom communicated that to the distribution center, and they said, okay, fine, we'll wait a little bit longer. But when almost an hour passed and still Devin had not shown up, the distribution center called Tom back and said, hey, he's not here. Now, after the second call, Tom totally changed his mindset, and he was actually now worried about Devin. And so he apologized to the distribution center and said he would get in touch with Devin as soon as he could and figure out where their shipment was. But Tom couldn't just call Devin and ask where he was and what was going on, because this was back in 1995. They didn't have cell phones, and so Tom basically just had to wait for Devin, who's out on the road somewhere, to stop somewhere and call Tom to tell Tom what's going on. And so all day Monday, Tom sat at his desk waiting for a call from Devin. And when he didn't get a call from Devin, Tom began calling his other drivers all over the country, asking them if maybe they had had some sort of interaction with Devin and knew where he was and why he had not made it to Kansas City on time. But none of the drivers had any idea what was going on with Devin. No one had spoken to him. Then, that evening, Tom got a call, but it was not from Devin. It was from Devin's wife, Mary Lou. And she was calling to say, where's Devin? He was supposed to be home by now, and he's not. I haven't heard from him in days. What's going on? And at this, Tom suddenly thought, okay, we have a real problem here. And so when Tom explained to Mary Lou what was going on with Devin, how he had missed this deadline, Mary Lou panicked and immediately called the police. A little while later, a police officer in Americus, Kansas, arrived at Mary Lou's house to take down the missing person report. And after they did that, the deputy assured Mary Lou that very likely her husband would be found and he would be just fine. And so they explained to Mary Lou that what they would do is put out an alert to all the different police departments that fell kind of roughly along the route that Devon's truck had been on, and see if any of them had had some sort of interaction with Devon. You know, maybe he got into an accident, maybe his truck broke down and he was stranded somewhere, you know, maybe he was hospitalized, who knows? But very likely one of these police departments would know where Devon was. And sure enough, after this alert went out, the officer got a call back very quickly from a sheriff's department in a place called Coconino County, Arizona. Late on the night of May 22nd.
Again, if you guys haven't heard that story, definitely go to Mr. Boland and check it out because it is super strange. It makes no sense whatsoever. I'm not going to spoil it for you, so yeah, make sure you go over there and check it out. Mr. Boland.
Watch carefully. This video was shot at Langley Eustis Air Force Base in Virginia. On screen, you see a SF-22 stealth fighter jet being piloted by a pilot wearing sunglasses, performing a full sequence from takeoff to an aerial maneuver show. The pilot and ground crew salute and shake hands. Then the pilot climbs up the boarding ladder into the cockpit. 2 ground engineers assist the pilot with pre-flight preparations. The pilot is Lieutenant Colonel Paul Lopez, call sign Madman. His nickname comes from his exceptional fitness and bold, aggressive flying style. He also commands this F-22 flight squadron and has logged over 1,500 hours, flying both F-15S and F-22S. After the pilot settles into the cockpit, the ground crew retracts the boarding ladder and places it about 5 meters to the left of the plane. The pilot quickly puts on his flight helmet, nods, and smiles, signaling an exciting maneuver show is about to begin. The startup sequence begins as the auxiliary power unit, a PU intake on the left side, opens and fires up. Then the 2 Pratt & Whitney F119 engines ignite, one after the other. The pilot closes the canopy and completes the wing sweep test. The ground crew stands ready to the right front side of the cockpit as the pilot requests takeoff clearance. After receiving a hand signal, he releases the parking brake, pushes the throttle forward, and the plane slowly taxis toward the runway. The twin vectoring nozzles and large variable geometry wings at the rear give the plane a futuristic look. The 2 engines generate 33 tons of thrust, helping the jet quickly reach the runway starting line. Once cleared for takeoff by the control tower, the pilot throttles up to full power. The F-22 dashes down the runway at high speed, lifting off after about 150 meters. With afterburners fully engaged, the jet accelerates low over the ground, then suddenly pulls up sharply into a vertical climb, like a flying monkey soaring upward. Next, it performs a backflip maneuver, hovering midair before pushing the throttle again to dive toward the ground. The pilot demonstrates intense flying skills, suddenly slamming on the brakes to perform a quick, tight cobra turn. This series of moves tests not only the pilot's high tolerance for G-forces, but also the aircraft's structural strength. The jet levels out quickly, engines firing at full thrust to regain level flight speed. Then, with afterburners back on, it shoots a Mach ring as it climbs vertically again. The pilot launches into a combo of maneuvers, including consecutive crocodile rolls, backflips, and rapid attitude change.
See what's over here. What is this? No, I don't want to be following these. Where is my following? What the crick? This app is being so weird today. Shall we explore? No. Gosh. and just refresh. Oh, weird. Holy shnikes. That is crazy. I don't know why it logged me out. Maybe that makes sense of why things have been weird on this site today.
Have you ever had one of those embarrassing dreams where you're naked but everyone else is clothed? Well, I have an explanation for that that is going to blow your mind. This comes from Professor Robert Temple. He's a scholar well known for his theories and books and stance on plasma and the fact that 99.9% of everything is plasma. We live in a plasma universe. But he also goes into depth about his travels into what he calls the gray area of the spirit world. And for the last 30 years, on almost a nightly basis, he has been taken, astral projected, but taken by his guides into the spirit world so that he can basically map it out and teach humanity about what he's finding. And he does so. He writes lots of books. He goes on lots of podcasts and interviews. He does lots of lectures and talks all about it. But I thought this was super interesting. He was talking about how when he goes, so there's like levels to the spirit world. So basically our consciousness is in our physical bodies right now. But when we go to sleep, our consciousness doesn't sleep, just the physical body does. So your consciousness goes and wanders. And it goes into the non-physical world. And it doesn't go into the entire universe because it's sort of compartmentalized. There's a spirit world, like a ring around our physical world here, and there's a non-physical ring around it, which is the spirit world. And there's different layers and levels over there. So your consciousness kind of roams around that whenever your body's asleep because it's bored and it's just looking for fun and adventure. Well, okay, this is where it gets really interesting. The spirits over there, the consciousnesses, whatever you want to call them, he just calls them dead people. But the people over there that are no longer in a physical body, their consciousnesses get bored, he said. They just, the higher levels, they're more training and they're focusing on the next incarnation and going through all those processes. But the lower levels, he says they're like immature souls and they're just kind of bored and they're a little mischievous. So whenever he calls them dream walkers, when a dream walker comes through, which is a consciousness of a living person, so meaning you're just dreaming, you're not, passed away or anything, they know who you are. Well, you know how they know who you are? Because you're naked. And everybody in the spirit world is clothed. If you've ever noticed, if you've ever had an encounter in the spirit world, near-death experience or astral travel or anything like that, everyone has like dresses or robes or some sort of a garment on, okay? They're genderless, so it's not like they're covering their privates or anything. He talks about specifically how everyone is genderless over there. They have masculine, feminine energy. There is a duality, like a yin and yang. But as far as physical appearance, they're genderless. But they all wear clothes. But when you're a dream walker, when you're just kind of passing through in your sleep, you are naked completely. And he says that the lower level consciousnesses will mess with you and they'll tease you and they'll poke fun at you and that kind of stuff. And that's why sometimes you'll wake up and you'll be embarrassed. You're like, oh my God, I was naked in a dream and everyone was laughing at me. And in addition to that, they get extra bored and the very immature souls will try to scare you. And that's where nightmares come from. They will
No! Come on, man. Don't leave me hanging.
replicate either your fears, because they know what you're thinking, or they'll even replicate like movies and pop culture and that kind of stuff if they have passed away in that era, like meaning the disembodied soul was alive, say, in the 80s. So it knows that, okay, Freddy Krueger is scary, so it's going to impersonate that. And all of a sudden you're in this haunted house being chased by Freddy or something like that, right? They do this stuff just for fun because they know that they can't hurt you. And your consciousness at that level knows that they can't hurt you. So it's all just sort of entertainment. But then when you wake up back in your physical body, you're like, like, what the hell was that? I was in this weird house and there was this guy chasing me and it was so scary. Have you ever had those dreams where you're like running from something and you're scared, but you don't even know what's chasing you and you don't even know where you were or what the hell's going on? And then you start searching for like answers like, why would I be doing this to myself? What's my higher self trying to tell me? And all these things. you know, or you had a dream where you woke up and you're naked and everyone else was clothed and they're laughing at you and you're like, what is that about, you know? And there's like all these dream books that tell you, oh, it's about this insecurity, or maybe your parents didn't hug you, or whatever. It's like, no, these are literally immature souls. They're just messing with you. Because when your body gets tired and goes to sleep at night, your consciousness does not. And it goes and roams around, and it roams around the spirit world. And there's different levels to the spirit world, and in those lower levels, the immature souls are just little asses, you know what I mean? And they mess with you. And then the higher planes of the spirit world, they're much more civilized. So that's why some of your dreams will be very sophisticated and nice and pleasant and kind of like heaven-like. And some are not. It all depends on where you roamed. So I just thought that was super interesting. Let me know your thoughts on this. Have a beautiful day. Peace.
Peace.
If y'all have ever followed the Idaho 4 case, I'd like y'all to see something, or technically hear something. And
I have not followed the Idaho 4 case, but I do recall the Memphis 4, which was very sad. But let's see what Miss Amber Bowden Vance has to say about this.
I need y'all to put on headphones for this. I know that's annoying. You're on TikTok and you want to scroll and you got other things to do, but please. Because last night I decided to review the entire hour long, we only have 1 hour, of raw surveillance footage from the King Road house. Not 1122 King Road, but the house like right next to it that had this surveillance camera. And there's a couple things that I really want y'all to hear, okay? So please, trust me. Just this once, okay? Headphones on. In this first clip that I'm going to show you, I want you to pay special attention on the clock to 3:41:33. Turn that volume up. Murphy. Did y'all hear that? Somebody yelled for Murphy. Let's listen to it again. At 3:41 a.m., no one in that house is supposed to be awake, much less yelling outside for Murphy. But that's not it, okay? So this was 3:41, and then just a few minutes later, at 3:46, a car shows up that is not the white Elantra. I want to play y'all a clip from this 3:46 a.m. until 3:50 a.m. Yes, that's 4 minutes, but I promise you have a lot to listen to. Headphones on. Not an Elantra. men's voices.
Why did they break her red eye?
Guys, that was screaming. And as you can tell, this is not the white Elantra. But if you do this exact same thing and put these headphones back on at the exact time that they say that Brian Koberger in the white Elantra shows up, yes, you can hear Murphy barking. You cannot hear the voices and the screams that you hear right here. This is the real time that the Idaho 4 were attacked. And then get this. I don't have the video clip of this, but I can bring it to y'all if you want me to. But it all goes silent by 3:50. By the end of 3:50, you hear this really loud music bumping. And at 3:51, this person appears, walking from the direction of the King Road house. This is supposedly the DoorDash driver. And when she turns around, you can't see the bag in her hand. This DoorDash driver then leaves at 3:53 a.m. in a car that is not the white Elantra and is also not the vehicle that we watched come in at 3:46. From 3:30 on, I never see the DoorDash driver drive down this road. She had to already be there. Unless there's another way onto Queen Road from another direction, which it doesn't look like from the map. Then you see the Elantra coming back and all of this stuff. So the Elantra leaves at the end of all of this at 4:20 a.m. That's not even the last car that leaves the King Road house. Murphy is going crazy this entire time from the point that car leaves until the end of this video at 4:30. At 4:23, this car leaves. Actually, I have a lot more to say, so I'm going to grab them clips and I'll be right back. If y'all have ever followed the Idaho 4 case, I'd like y'all to see something, or technically hear something. And I need y'all to...
So is that the one with the college kids that got killed? Like that one dude with the furry brow? I'm not quite sure. But on that note, boys and girls, we are going to go to our second music break. And on this break, we have Battlefield Gray. And they will be singing Undertaker's Light, The Afterlife. I love that song. Eyes of a Hurricane, Pray for the Weary, and then we have Fred Johnson III from Canyon County, California with After Dark. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this music break.
Silver spurs that jingle as the cowboy rides along, laid on the trail coming in from San Antonio. Needs a drink of whiskey and a place to lay his head. He checks into this place off of the trail of death. says you're just in time for festivities. There's a party here in your honor. Are you not pleased? Cowboy looked around and there was no one there but him. He said, this is gonna be one of those nights to get under the skin, like a cold Texas wind. Then a dancing girl appeared upon the bar, of course. Bartender gave me whiskey, stableman take my horse. Tomorrow I'll fight with the devil at noon, but tonight there's gonna be heaven up in my room. The room was dusty and it smelled of perfume. There was this dimly lit candle in the room. Shadow on the wall held that moment in the light, and I knew it was gonna be one of those nights. Yeah, the music started playing and she danced me around. What was that beautiful magic that I found? Could it be the devil in disguise, or could it be a glimpse of me in the Undertaker's right? Last night she sat on the porch and she listened to the sounds of the night. Heard the bullfrog down by the pond, saw the fireflies in black. Watched a plane near the distant stars that cut a path across the sky. One hand she pushed a rocking chair that was empty by her side. And for a moment she closes her eyes. In a picture-perfect world, they're rocking side by side. That would be in another time. That would be in another life. That would be in another time. That would be in the afterlife. He pointed a finger out to the stars and said, I'll meet you somewhere out there. Put her head on his shoulders and said, can you show me where? Lifted a hand up to the sky in the dream they always share. And for a moment they closed their eyes. In a picture-perfect world, they're rocking side by side. That would be in another time. That would be in another life. That would be in another time. That would be in the afterlife. Now she's lying there in their old bed, with his pillow pulled up next to her head. She holds on tightly to my hand, and for the last time she closes her eyes to leave behind what's left of this old life, and to move on to another time, to another time when he'll be there, and to another time when again they'll share all those hopes and dreams, yeah, that they once seen, those old rocking chairs. You could find us in the moonlight, talking about the afterlife.
Like the cool spring wind that whispers through the trees, her sweetness carried soft upon the breeze. When look into those eyes and the coldest nights feel warm, the color of the sea before a storm. When you feel alone, she'll bring you home, just like a southbound train. She's got an angel's smile in the eyes of a hurricane. There's a feeling that you know you can't ignore, when you feel her waves crash upon your shore, and her hair falls down around you like a cool summer rain, looking in the eyes of a hurricane. Dancing in a circle till nothing else remains, lost somewhere in the eyes of a hurricane. There's a feeling that you know you can't ignore, when you feel her waves crash upon your shore, and her hair falls down around you like a cool summer rain, lost somewhere in the eyes of a hurricane. been weathered by the years, it seems to me. But to her that isn't what she sees. Reflected in her mirrors, my image remains unchanged, shining back at me in the eyes of a hurricane. There's a feeling that you know you can't ignore when you feel her waves crash upon your shore, and her hair falls down around you like a cool summer rain. Looking in the eyes of a hurricane, lost somewhere in the eyes of a hurricane. She's got an angel smile in the eyes of a hurricane.
grab a hold of your bootstraps and you pull them on tight. Better not let him fool you, surely not twice. You gotta be a believer in that kingdom Christ. take. Give me your love, I'm gonna pray for the weary. Give me love and feed the hungry. And do what I can. Be a better man. Share the tears. Walk in grace. Just to embrace the Lord.
My driver pulls up in my limousine, ready to take me anywhere I want to be. I say, I want to go. Take me to a college scene. I'd like to go and dance, have drinks, and hunt the perfect date. Yeah. Living at the dark, I search lonely streets to find hidden shadows in the dark. It doesn't matter what I say. Secret homicides arranged in a series of pursuits. No matter what I say, after dark, I gave her base because she had the range. I knew she was the one that never could go home again. Plastic life like limo seats. I don't know why I can't control this urge to hurt again. Yeah. Living at the dark, I search lonely streets to find hidden shadows in the dark. It doesn't matter what I say. Chase it till it's done. Murder forever after. No matter what I say, after dark. Feeling ran to before you mentioned me. In hiding place with days of December. Concerning works furnished in my manage. It doesn't matter what I say. It really doesn't. No matter what I say, after dark. It doesn't matter what I say. Secret homicides arranged in a series of pursuits. No matter what I say, change it till it's done. Murder forever after. It doesn't matter what I say. Rude and fatal, lacking the hint of conscience. No matter what I say, after dark.
Welcome back, and thanks so much for hanging out with me tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. That was a good music break. Battlefield Grey consists of Mickey Womack, Dave Peterson, Vernon Peterson, Jen Peterson, and Bob Virgin. Dave has since passed, but everybody else is still around. But yeah, they did so good on that album. So I'm hoping that there wasn't an echo for the whole show because I forgot to mute the screen of the TikToks, but Hopefully it didn't. I really hope not, because I will be very disappointed. But let's go ahead and kick off some more TikToks, shall we?
That's why they've been talking about Charlie. Oh my God. Do y'all realize what this just did? This is the second coming. They keep talking about Charlie like he's Jesus because he's bringing God back into our country and our lives. Holy fucking
shit. Yeah, I'm almost done with the show.
Is to facilitate the birth of the Antichrist. You already killed Christ.
Bro, that was like millions years ago. 2,000 years ago. Bro, yeah, 1,000 years ago.
Am I supposed to just forget about the death of God?
Yes, you have to care about it, but for a better future, you have to forget it. I mean, not forget it, like, accept it.
They took God out of our country, out of our schools, out of our hearts. That is the Antichrist. That is the Antichrist. This new thing that Charlie kicked off is Christ consciousness, God coming back into our lives. There were so many people praying across the world. Good job, guys. Good job. Anyways, I love y'all. And I hope you have a good day. You see, God never left. People left him. He never left you. I have said that since I was very young. And I have continued to say it because it is truth and fact.
So my guest again this week is UFO researcher, former state Senate candidate, and award-winning pilot John Lear. Mr. Lear, nice to have you here again.
Always a pleasure to be here, George.
To begin with, we have this concept of the people from other planets as little green men. Are they green from what you know? Are they all the same, or we got different kinds of them?
George, there's at least 70 different species, and probably more. But yes, as odd as it sounds, there are little green men. That's not the ones we usually see, though. We see the little gray ones that are about 4.5 feet tall. We see the ones that are called the Nordics. They're about 7 feet tall, look like us, but they're invariably blonde hair and blue-eyed. They're one of the species that we have on ice. One of their crashes we recovered.
Obviously, with different species, they have different motives. I mean, are there good aliens and bad aliens?
Good aliens and bad aliens, and all kinds of ways and reasons for interacting with us.
You believe, in part, that the movies E.T., Close Encounters of the Third Kind, were not entirely just the creative product of some Hollywood director, that maybe there's more to that. Why don't you explain?
They were carefully guided by representatives from MJ12, who is this organization that is in charge of the cover-up, in order to get us ready for the release of the information that there are indeed aliens. And in both those movies, they used small little creatures and in order to get us ready for this release of information.
To prepare us that the idea of benevolent aliens from outer space were going to help us out.
Unfortunately, they're not so benevolent. So they made probably one of the most disastrous mistakes when E.T. was put out. At that time was before we discovered what I call the double cross or the grand deception. And they were trying to get us used to the benevolent little creatures, but that isn't the case.
Why don't you take a couple of minutes? Now, you've done as much research on UFOs as just about anyone, I'd imagine, and if you haven't done it, you know people who have. Where did it all start, and how have we put this picture together of where they came from and why they're here?
Well, the whole thing started in July 2nd, 1947. That was the first crash.
First crash of an alien space.
Of an alien spaceship. July 6th is when they recovered it and sent it to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. July 7th is when they held the press conference and told the people it was a weather balloon, which the press bought hook, line, and sinker. September of that year, President Truman established MJ12, and the purpose of that was to study the saucers and cover up the existence of UFOs.
And you say we recovered alien bodies from that incident, right?
4 from that particular crash, yes.
And what did they do with them?
They autopsied him. Dr. Detlef Bronk was the chief surgeon, so to speak. He was the one that named them EBEs. And that stands for extraterrestrial biological entities. And we captured 3 live EBEs. They were numbered in their order of capture: EBE1, EBE2, and EBE3.
Where did we capture? Where did this happen?
In different crashes. EBE1 lived with an Air Force colonel between 1949 and 1952. The EBEs are kept in an electromagnetic facility called a YY-2. It was designed by a Dr. Eric Wang, who worked directly for Dr. Kissinger, who has been in this cover-up since the very beginning. The reason they had to create an electromagnetic facility is the fact that the EBEs are so advanced. They're at least 500 million years advanced from us, and probably more. They can move by thought.
Move by thought.
And they can also disappear. But they can't move by thought through electromagnetic facilities. So they built this facility. There was 2, one in Los Alamos and one either Edwards or up at the test site.
Groom Lake, Nevada.
At Groom Lake. Now, there's still one EBE still living, EBE3, and there is a videotape that eventually is going to be released to the public, and it's an interview with him. As hard as that may sound, as hard as that may be to believe, there is a videotape of an interview with EBE3.
And what is this language that the interviewers are?
I haven't seen the tape, so I don't know.
I wonder if the one that he's talking about is the one with the alien that is having problems with breathing and such, just because our environment is not cohesive for them.
Now, can they exist among us? Is that what you're saying, or do they have to have a special environment?
They have special environment, special air. It's my understanding they can only last about 20 minutes in this air.
You were saying also these gray ones are the ones that we see most of the time, and you said that most of that there are a lot of different motives for them being here. The gray ones, what kind of a deal we got going with them? Is that the bunch that you suggest we've made a deal with for military technology?
I think we made a deal with them, and their ultimate, what they want to do is regenerate their own race. Now, apparently, they've either had some kind of nuclear accident, or they're on the backside of a evolutionary genetic curve, and they're going downhill instead of uphill. In other words, in the autopsies, of which I have 2, we found out that their digestive system is atrophied more. You know how they eat? Well, these cattle mutilations, they take the hormones and the enzymes from those cattle, and they spread it on their skin, and their skin absorbs the nutrients and then excretes the waste back through their skin. And if you read Whitley Strieber's book or listen to him talk, he talks about when he's seen them doing this to their skin, and they're scraping the waste off.
Now, these cattle mutilations, there's been a film made about that, and perhaps in a couple of minutes we can take a look at some excerpts of that.
Yeah, Strange Harvest was a good one, but another thing that happened here on March 4th, there was a documentary released on the best UFO photos that have been taken so far, including 1 minute and 38 seconds of videotape. Now, what happened is in November, this guy took these photos, took it into the TV station they thought was great, but nobody would believe it. So they spent 3 months checking the validity of authenticating the videotape and checking out the credibility of the witness. And when they had it all down, they put out this documentary, 30 minutes. I mean, it's ironclad. They're here. But do you think it got on the network? No, it was just showed locally in Pensacola.
We have some of that, and perhaps when we come back, we can take a look at it. So stay with us for more On the Record. So my guest again this week is UFO.
Is your Wi-Fi tracking you? This screenshot has been making the rounds recently. It's basically selling you a service to have Wi-Fi motion detection in your home without the use of motion tracking cameras or sensors. Wow. Amazing. And for the conspiracy theorists amongst us, aka educated people, this comes as no surprise whatsoever. What I mean is that they've had this technology and capability for a long time. Who knows how they've been using it? They can absolutely track where you are in your house using your Wi-Fi, regardless of if you pay for the service or not. It works by seeing what blocks the Wi-Fi signal, kind of like a heat map. And this is very similar to how bats use echolocation to fly through the air. And if Wi-Fi is beaming out these signals that are blasting into us and getting blocked, What else is that signal doing to our bodies? This is just another thing to be aware of in the increasing surveillance of this technological world, and another reason to turn off your Wi-Fi whenever you're not using it.
If they're offering this as a service, that means the devices already have this capability. And I wouldn't doubt if they're not already using this on us without our knowledge.
Is your Wi-Fi tracking you? This screenshot has been...
Story time. Growing up in the 90s, I had a great aunt named Martha, and she was a wonderful woman. And when I tell you she was one with nature, this woman had teen wild animals in her yard. Aunt Martha had always taken care of these animals. Didn't even have to have food. They would just come to her. So one day, I'm hanging out with her, and we're shelling butter beans on the back porch, when all of a sudden, one of the most beautiful animals I've ever seen walked up in her backyard. White deer. I had never seen an albino or snow white deer ever before. This deer was absolutely majestic. He had the biggest set of horns we ever saw. Big full mane, bright blue eyes, and a big bushy tail. He was gorgeous. So while me and Aunt Martha's jaws are dropped from looking at this beautiful creature, the neighbor walks over and says, "Oh my God, what is that? Let me go get my pew-pew. I have to get it." And Aunt Martha said, "Don't you dare." He said, "Why? She's going to eat, poop, and die at some point anyways." She said, "Leave it alone. This is their home and their safe place." I said, "Matthew, I've warned you before about this. If you mess with nature here on this property, you know what's going to happen." He said, "Oh, I don't believe your old ghost stories. They don't scare me." She said, "Why won't you just leave it alone? He's just trying to live its life." He said, "Because it's so beautiful, rare, and unique. I think it would look good over my fireplace." And Martha turned and said, "Well, maybe you would look good over my fireplace." So he walks away, and we can tell he's fuming. And she looks at me and says, "He'll be back." It seemed like something more was going on. I just didn't know what it was. I said, "What do you mean? Why would he come back?" She said, "Because he's already seen it. He's not going to be able to let go of this now. He's going to try to unalive that beautiful deer. But we can't let that happen." So we took a bag of corn way out in the woods and lured them away from the backyard. Where we took the deer corn was on her property on the backside. So this neighbor had no business being over there. Even though we put out that corn, the animals still came back. They always came back. They loved her. We see that beautiful white deer walk up in the backyard again. So the next morning, we're back on the porch shelling more butter beans when the neighbor walks over again and says, "Hey, have y'all seen that deer again?" Martha said, "No, we haven't seen nothing today." And Martha said, "Didn't I warn you before about this? You didn't learn your lessons. I'm telling you, this is not the kind of land that you want to hurt these animals. It will come back on you." I said, "Aunt Martha, tell me, why did you say you didn't learn your lesson? What happened before?" She said, "Back when Matthew and his wife first moved here, they were pulling up in their driveway, and Matthew saw this big rabbit hopping across the road. So Matthew gets back in the car, backs out the driveway, floors the gas, and hits the rabbit on purpose. Now, he did it just to unalive it. They didn't eat it. They didn't keep the skin. Got nothing out of hurting this rabbit. Well, you can say it's connected or not. I don't know. But 2 weeks later, Matthew himself got hit by a car in the same damn spot. On his day off, Matthew went outside with his coffee to check the mail, and when he walked back up the driveway, his wife backed out of the yard. She was late for work, so she stomped the gas, and she hit Matthew. It didn't unalive him, but he did break his leg. When Matthew got out of the hospital, his wife was rolling him into the house. Aunt Martha walked up and said, "Matthew, I warned you, if you hurt the animals here, they will hurt you back." Matthew said, "Martha, it was an accident. She didn't see me out there. Just ridiculous. Go home." So Martha pulled Matthew's wife over to the side and said, "Look, I'm telling you, if he doesn't stop hurting these animals, this is only going to get worse." Now fast forward to where I'm spending the night with Aunt Martha, and we're sitting on the porch. It's like 6 o'clock in the evening, and we see that beautiful white deer walk up in the backyard again. It's dark, but we can tell it's him because it's a solid white deer. Anyone can spot it. Well, I'm sleeping on the couch, and around 4 a.m., we hear a loud bam, like gunfire. So Martha goes flying out the front door in her house coat, yelling, "What's going on out here?" And then we see Matthew come walking down the street with his rifle. Martha screams out, "You didn't! Please tell me you didn't hurt that beautiful deer." And Matthew said, "I couldn't get to it, but I got to another one. He had unalived a baby fawn, a little fawn that was just walking around eating with its mother." He said, "That's not all. I got the mama too. We're fixing to go pull her out the woods." She said, "You killed the mother?" And Aunt Martha lost it. "How many times have I warned you? This place is not like other places. You can't mess with the animals here. Treat the land with respect." He said, "Get your crazy ass out of my face and go the fuck home." Martha said, "Well, the same way you drug them deers out the woods is the same way they're going to drag your body out those woods. Watch and see." He said, "What the hell is that supposed to mean?" She said, "You'll see. You just sealed your own fate. Y'all prepare yourselves because what happened that winter blew my mind." I was staying with Aunt Martha, and we were putting up the Christmas tree when we heard a bunch of ambulances coming down the road. The neighbors we had were all standing out in the road like, "What is going on? What happened?" But nobody knew. So we walked down the road to see what's going on, and that's where we see 3 men dragging Matthew by his feet out the woods, and he's pouring. It turned out early that morning, Matthew had taken his 8-year-old son hunting for the first time. This child had never been before, had never handled a weapon, and didn't know what he was doing. It was a recipe for disaster. The child's walking in the woods behind his daddy. He trips and stumbles over a root, drops a weapon. It goes off, hits Matthew in the back. Matthew looked like a damn stranger. The bullets had spread out from his shoulders down to his waist. Because they had walked so far up in the woods, it took the child damn near 45 minutes to run back home and called 911. It took first responders over 5 hours to find Matthew because they were so deep in the woods. And guess where they found Matthew's body? He was sitting up against a tree beside them old stones where Aunt Martha had taken me before. The little boy told police that was not where the accident happened. He says they were down at the creek. We have no idea how Matthew got from the creek to the stones. You're talking about a damn near hour's walk. How would he have gotten that far with all those injuries? What else is strange? When they did his autopsy, they found these big gashes. It looked like an animal with antlers had been ramming him. There were cuts, bruises, and abrasions, but especially gashes all over his back, shoulders, and the back of his head. It looked like someone had taken a set of deer antlers and just jabbed him repeatedly in his back. It was really sad because Matthew's son, he was just 8 years old. He didn't have any safety, didn't know what he was doing. Matthew had no business giving that child a weapon. It was so crazy. When this little boy turned 13, he told his new stepdaddy that the day his father died, he saw a white deer before he tripped over the roots. When that little boy said that and it got around the neighborhood, me and Aunt Martha were like, full circle. You cannot tell me that white deer didn't know what the hell he was doing. I know he did. He got
deer
Matthew's
did.
ass. What really
Totally
gave me
did.
chills was the fact that what Aunt Martha said came true. When she told Matthew, they're going to drag you out of these woods the same way you're dragging these animals out, pouring blood, and that was what happened. My Aunt Martha was one with nature. She's passed on now, but when I tell you, I go outside sometimes, and when I see deer, squirrels, and rabbits, I swear I can feel her. I truly believe she's been reincarnated as an animal, and she's living her best life. And anyone who lives in that part of North Carolina, or my family that knows about this, don't say anything in the comments about where this happened, because we don't want people going down there. Story time. Growing up in the 90s, I had a great aunt.
So I've got a story to tell you, and it's strange, and it's dark, and it's hard to tell, and I've never told anything like this, so I'm just going to tell it as best I can, and I hope you enjoy it, because the truth is stranger than fiction, and it's a true story. So about 7 weeks ago, I went over to visit my buddy Charlie. He has been sick for probably about 2 years, but he was only bedfast for like the last 6 or 7 months of his life, and he just couldn't get up and muster no energy at all. He was sick. But I would go over, after he got bedfast, I would go over at least once a week, sometimes twice a week. It wasn't far. It took me about 20 minutes to get to his house. I'd go over a couple of times a week if possible and visit with him and sit and talk to him and joke and just be who he was. And me and him was talking about 7 weeks ago, and he said, Dave, I got a serious question for you. And he said, I need a favor. And I said, okay. He said, now me and you both know that I'm not long for this world. He said, I know it, you know it. Dorsey, his wife, knows it. Everybody knows it. I'm not going to be here much longer. And he said, I ordered my coffin from Walmart, and he said, it's supposed to be here Tuesday. He said, I'm doing my own arrangements because I want it done my way. And he said, I don't want Dorsey to have to fool with nobody or nothing. Just go to my burial and let it be. And he said, but I need you, if you will. And you can say, no, it won't hurt my feelings. He said, but I want you to deliver a few words at the graveside. And then just let them put me in the ground, throw dirt in my face. And I said, well, if that's what you want, Charlie, that's what I'll do. And he said, now I don't want no long, drawn-out nothing. He said, just quick, fast, and in a hurry. Just say the appropriate things and be done with it. He said, I'm not going to the funeral home. He said, I'm not going to have a funeral. He said, I'm not going to be embalmed. He said, I've got it fixed so they will come and get me and put me in my coffin and seal it up. And he said, and take me and bury me. And I thought, man, that's fast. Anyway, Charlie passed away on Saturday, this past Saturday, about noon. And this morning, I went to a sunrise graveside service. He didn't tell me he was going to have it in Roane County, Tennessee, which it didn't matter. I went to the ends of the earth for him. He was my friend. But I had to get up at 2 o'clock, get ready, and get over there before sunrise. And at about 6:15 this morning, up in the hills of Roane County, I was standing in a little family cemetery, delivering a message for one of my best buddies, and watching the sun come up over the Smoky Mountains. It's beautiful to look at. It's beautiful. And after the funeral was over, or after the graveside service was over, I was standing talking to his wife, Dorsey, and trying to console her, and she was saying her final goodbyes. And I don't guess there was probably, other than just the people that drove the hearse and the men that were waiting to inter the body, I'd say there wasn't 15 people there. Anyway, I was standing there talking to her, and it was kind of sad to me that there wasn't more people there, because he was a good man. And I was talking to her, and I said, Dorsey, I said, let me ask you a question. I said, what was he thinking about when he had this sunrise graveside service? I said, I've never heard of it before. And she said, yeah, I hadn't either. She said, but you know how he was. And I said, yeah. I said, but this is a little bit far out for him. She said, no. She said, me and him talked about it, and his reasoning was sound. And I said, well, what was his reasoning? And she said, he told me that if I wanted to know who I could depend on and who I could trust and who cared anything about me and him, they would be here. And he said, there was you, and she started naming his other friends. There's about 4 of us, 4 men. There was you 4, and said, and then what little bit of family showed up? And she said, now I know. And you know, I've thought about that. And I'm going to talk to my wife about doing the same thing, because of all the things that woman is going to be dealing with in the next few days, one of the things is not going to be who she can trust, who she can count on, and who are true friends. That's a little dark.
It's true.
But I see the wisdom in it. Hope you enjoyed this.
I sure did.
It's strange, even for me. It's hard to tell. But God bless you. Have a great day. Now I got to go back to work.
God bless you.
Warning, if you're a parasite, you're not going to be able to watch this video, so I'm going to give you 3 seconds to scroll if you're a parasite. 3, 2, 1. If there was a way to break all of the spells and escape the Matrix, would you take it? Answer in the comments below. A lot of you watching have a spirit of a parasite, and I am going to detox you through watching this video. Some of you are going to scroll because the parasite in you is afraid of that detox. The rest of you stay, and it's going to be okay. But you're going to get angry first, but again, it's going to be okay. The 3 sentences behind me are going to really bother that parasite inside of you. So let's look at them. You are an animal. Your job is not your purpose. If you don't charge for your gift, you will lose them in this capitalistic matrix. The people who scroll couldn't handle it. That belief that you're not an animal is used to control you. If you look up the etymology of animal, you'll see that it's anima, meaning spirit or soul. There's nothing wrong with being an animal. But even further into the actual definition, it means an organism that eats organic matter. That's you. It's easy to control people who don't believe they're animals, because we understand that every single animal has a role. If we want to understand the purpose of an animal, we just look at its environment. Its natural environment will tell us what its purpose is in nature and what it's supposed to do. The problem is, most of you don't know what you're supposed to eat, what you're supposed to do, your collective purpose. You don't even know what your natural habitat is, so this makes you easy to control. So then somebody can tell you what your purpose is, and they normally tell you that your purpose is a job. You're still here? We're detoxing, so let's go. Your job is not your purpose. This is what I call the false mystery. It's not a mystery. What your purpose is, at least, it's not a mystery. All you got to do is figure out what humans were doing before civilization. I know that hurts, before civilization, right? Well, since you don't know your purpose, they got you working a 9 to 5. You think that you were made to work a 9 to 5? Think about it. When somebody asks you, what are you? You tell them your job. Your job? You're much more than your job. Let's let those parasites go. This one's going to hurt your parasites the most. If you don't charge for your gift, you will lose them in this capitalistic matrix. And I know that hurts. See, that parasite wants to take from you so that you can do the same to others like a vampire. Money isn't good or evil. It's just a tool to get from one place in this capitalistic matrix into another. So in this matrix, you have to take care of yourself before you take care of others. This is like being on a plane. When the oxygen mask falls down, they say, put it on you before you put it on your child. Because think about it. If you pass out, no one will help your child. Nobody will be there to help your child. You see, the people who give out their gifts without receiving anything for it end up being depleted. So now when somebody comes to them and they really need their gift, they really need their help, they're like, bro, I got bills to pay. I'm about to be evicted. I gotta feed my children. But if they would have paid themselves first, it wouldn't be, or they wouldn't be in this predicament. This is a vampire matrix, a devouring matrix, a parasitic matrix called civilization. A parasite that takes without giving. Notice that the more advanced civilization grows, the weaker humanity is, and the more depleted the earth. That's right, because civilization is a parasite. And I know that hurts in here, in your body. Again, it's a spiritual parasite. This is a detox. There's nothing wrong with you if you're trying to do this, but it wants to keep you here by making you dependent upon it. So my mission is to free y'all from this matrix, from this parasite. To completely free yourself, you gotta free yourself from this civilization, but that doesn't mean that you have to leave technology. There's a link at the top of the page. It's a free audiobook. It's called FAMS, Food, Forest, Foraging, Hunting, Anti-Fragile Modern Society, FFFHAMS. This will free you and future generations. The parasite in you will try to stop you from receiving these instructions. Do not listen. I love you all. Peace. Warning.
Hello and welcome to our new and existing members of the We Do Not Care Club. I started this club for all women in perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause. We are putting the world on notice that we simply just do not care much anymore. Let's go ahead and get started with today's announcements. Damn. We do not care if you call us, hang up, and text us. We do not care if our hair is thinning on our head and thickening on our chin. We do not care that we bought the sharing size bag of M&Ms and then proceeded to eat the entire bag ourselves. Sharing is overrated. We do not care if we can braid the hair on our legs. We do not care that we are wearing sweaty gym clothes to do our grocery shopping. We went to the gym and the grocery store. We deserve a medal. We do not care about the serving size on the package. If we eat the entire package, that is one serving. We do not care if you are embarrassed when we talk to people we don't know. If we think the lady at the drive-thru window has on some cute earrings, we're gonna tell her. If it turns into a conversation, sit back and wait for us to get done. We do not care if it scares you when we gasp while you are driving. You know damn well you didn't see that car coming. We saved your life and ours too. We do not care if we are watching a TV show with you and we have to go pee. 5 minutes later, we need to go pee again. Press pause and wait for us to get back. This concludes today's announcements. Our new and existing members of the We Do Not Care Club, please put in the comments what we do not care about today so we can add that to the list. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my, what the fuck?
Cookies 3 days ago.
Look at that, holy shit! What the fuck is that?
Wow.
Fucking aliens, bro. Holy fuck, look at them fucking things. Fucking ET motherfucking phone home.
This footage comes from the USA, though the date is unknown. Judging from the person's reaction in the video itself, it does seem pretty legit. What's surprising is that usually when people see orbs, it's just one or two, or maybe a few forming shapes. But here, it's more than anything we've witnessed. The way they appeared almost felt like they were already there, just invisible until that moment.
It's like a zigzag.
And here's the big question. What if this isn't a fleet of objects at all, but one single massive craft, and what we're
Oh, hell no.
seeing are just its lights? What do you think? Moving on, we have a video from Kazakhstan, recorded on May 2nd, 2025. A person captured strange light patterns in the sky that definitely didn't look man-made. At first glance, you might think it's just moonlight leaking through the clouds. But looking closer, you can see there weren't any thick clouds in that part of the sky, only thin and transparent ones. That makes it far more likely that this light was an object of its own. We've already talked about how UFOs may use stealth or invisibility technology, but in many of these cases, we still see the lights. Maybe they can't, or don't, hide the lights on purpose. Just a theory, but what do you think this could be? Next up, I don't even know what to say. Just take a look at this, because it's absolutely crazy.
That is, like you said, absolutely crazy. What the hell? That is crazy.
I came across this video randomly. According to reports, it was filmed by someone flying in their private plane. And I know, it looks almost unbelievable, like a scene out of a movie. I even tried reverse searching it and found nothing, meaning it hasn't been widely shared. The location is unknown too. Could it be CGI? Possibly. But then again, we've seen footage of massive crafts from the ground, so what if this is simply what they look like from above? I'll leave this one up to you, real or fake. Now, somewhere in Antarctica, within a restricted area, a Navy officer reportedly recorded this footage of a pure white disc-shaped UFO. And honestly, it makes a lot of sense when you think about it.
Well, yeah, it's got to blend in with its surroundings. Crazy.
Antarctica itself is shrouded in mystery, and access is limited to military and officials only. Looking at this footage, the UFO being pure white actually makes sense. It would blend perfectly into that icy environment. Just like Antarctica itself, anything that comes from there is surrounded in mystery. Whatever the case, this footage is truly fascinating. What's your take on it? Moving forward, on August 6, 2025, over Mexico, a person spotted a bizarre cloud that looked like something far more than just a cloud. You can clearly see there were no other clouds nearby. This one had a strange UFO-like shape. It wasn't that high above the ground, and it really stood out. Watching this, you might be reminded of the movie Nope, where a strange cloud never moved. And what happened afterward, you know. This cloud gives off that exact same vibe. Do Do you think something could have been hiding inside it? Or was it just a rare natural anomaly? Let me know in the comments.
I need you to look at this. And I need you to really, really understand this. Yeshua is literally at the door. We are living in biblical times. No, we are living in the end of days. And now more than ever, it is vital that you put on the full armor of Yah. It is time to suit up, warriors.
And it's time to say goodbye. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. Thank you to all our friends on We Are Paradox Media's Facebook, Spreaker, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, iHeartRadio, wherever you may listen. Beyond the Omniverse tonight. I had a wonderful time. I can't wait to do it again. Tomorrow night we're going to do story time with me, TessaTNT. We might do some Reddit ghost stories or whatnot. It just really all depends on where we land, but it shall be epic. Don't forget, fam, we're all in this together. Together we can make the world a bit better. And together, my friends, we are Paradox Media because without you, there is no us. Please, if you have the means and you enjoy or believe in what I am doing here, or even if you just enjoy hanging out with me and make you feel better or happier, please sling or fling whatever change or grain you can our way. Send it to PO Box 663, Bayfield, Colorado 81122, Cash App at TessaTNT, PayPal at TessaTNT, Venmo at Tessa-Thomas-Peterson, and Google Wallet or pay at Tessa.N.Thomas30@gmail.com. Until next time, nighty night, love and light to all my yous out there. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Don't work too hard, and I will see you back here tomorrow night. And I will see you back here, same crazy time, same crazy ass place. Nighty night, love and light, you guys.